getting stuck in that email rut, let's move on, right? And I said processes are important, the right people to use this are important. So, pop quiz. PMPs in the house? Remember this acronym, PMIS? I know you forgot after you took the test. You know, input, tools, outputs, in the tool section, it says PMIS, yeah? So what does that stand for, buddy? PMIS. Good job. Project Management Information System. The idea is a PMIS is the glue that holds our project scheduling, artifacts, communications, all in one place. That glue today is email. You want to admit it or not, your email account is what holds your project. No matter how sophisticated tools you're using, at the end of the day, email holds your projects together. So let's change that. So what I'm proposing is, for example, as soon as your project is defined, let's go ahead and create a SharePoint-based PMIS. So here's my storyline here. By the way, who's this? Coldplay. Yeah, that's good music. I'm using a Mac, and I'm using this on purpose to show you that I'm here talking about Office 365. It can work on any platform. It doesn't have to be Windows. I'm using my Mac. I can use iPad, iPhone, whatever. But just to let you know, mangoes taste better than apples. Nobody got that, right? Now, so let's say my project got started. I work for a company called SharePoint Cafe. We open coffee shops around the world, and I'm your classic non-technical PM. Right? Anytime I need technology help, I call IT. Well, those days are gone in SharePoint, because if you have SharePoint in your environment, be it on-premise or through Office 365, the good people in IT work with the PMO. They said, you know what, PMO, I know you guys need a lot, so we're going to create a SharePoint site PMIS based using SharePoint, and all your projects would be here. That will be your central repository, your one-stop shop. So as a PM, I took a 1-hour training for my needs. So okay, I learned that anytime when I get assigned to work on a new project, I have to create my PMIS. That's part of the initiation process. You all with me? Okay, so following the process. So when I create my PMIS, one of the things I could do is, instead of building it from scratch, you know, there's a lot of out-of-the-box template, but check this out. The good people in IT work with the PMs to define the kind of template we need for opening a coffee shop. That's a great concept, IT and the business working together. Think about that, right? That was a satire, Joe, being sarcastic here. So here's the thing, right? My next project is to open a coffee shop for PMI Global 2012. I got the contract to take care of all the coffees next year. That's not true. I'm just making that up. I might get in trouble. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to call PMI Global Congress 2012, and I can define who can come in, who can work on my PMIS. I can hit create, right? So as soon as I hit create, voila, there I have it. I have my SharePoint-based PMIS with all the different components that I would need, because IT and the PMO work together, figured out what I needed. So things like I can put my project announcements, project calendar. Heck, if I look at my documents for my project, all the templates I need have been pre-populated. That's great. I mean, how many of you, it's getting high. How many of you, when you start a project, you kind of call people, where's that template? I need that schedule. Where's that requirements, that document sample? Hey, it's in the network share, 18 folders deep. Good luck. Bless your heart. For those that are not from this country, if you want to say something bad, say bless your heart first. I learned that in Atlanta. Bless his heart, that kid's ugly. It's like a free pass, right? Now, but how valuable is this? I mean, 20 years ago, why are you the best at my project? I call IT, right? Your IT and me, the best at my project. That's fine. Depending on the priority of the project, so now that I have my PMIS, all the components that I need, what else can I do with it? I could do a bunch of stuff. For example, one of my pet peeve, or not pet peeve, but it's just a practice. When I get assigned a new project, I go ahead and initiate my kickoff meeting. So I'm going to go to the project calendar and schedule my kickoff meeting just to make sure it's on the calendar. In fact, here's a project management tip. If you can, you schedule your kickoff meeting late in the day. What are you talking about? Aren't people more fresh in the morning? The problem is if you schedule a meeting in the morning, they will talk about American Idol, what you had for dinner last night. If you had a 4 o'clock kickoff meeting, 30 minutes tops, you're done. So once I do that, I hit save, I was able to enter my kickoff meeting. All the browser, easy to use. Now some of you are thinking, hold on a second. Haven't you heard this product? That's called Basecamp. Anybody know what Basecamp is? All right, good. You don't need to know what it is. Or haven't you heard of Google Apps? Yes? I can do all that. Well, true to a certain extent, but the beauty of Office 365, SharePoint, being a Microsoft product, it works really well with existing Microsoft tools that we're familiar with. So for example, let me go back to the calendar. And in the calendar, in SharePoint 2010, you got this ribbon interface. Check this puppy out. Connect to Outlook. This feature has been there since 2003, both Outlook and SharePoint. What this tells me is I can take the project calendar, make it appear in my copy of Microsoft Outlook. Now, I don't know about you. Outlook is my command center. I go to work in the morning, I fire up Outlook, I leave it there. I suspect some of you are in the same boat. Now, anybody using Lotus Notes? Okay, that's fine. You could do this thing with Lotus Notes. There's a plugin for it. Now, what did I just get here? What I just got, check this out, the kickoff meeting on the project site now shows up in my copy of Outlook, which ties into all my reminders. If I'm syncing it with my phone, it'll pop up as well. How many of you as project managers, you spent a lot of time entering the same data in 10,000 places? Oh, I gotta stick it in Excel. Oh, I gotta stick it in Outlook. With this, no more worries. Now, what else? Not only can I enter it in Outlook, I can come to Outlook and say, pre-kickoff meeting, right? And I put this in Outlook. I'm not even on the PMIS, but guess what? I've essentially entered that project data, in this case a calendar entry, from Outlook, and voila, it showed up in my PMIS. Do you guys see the value in this? Now, what else? It's not limited to calendaring. Almost everything here I can connect to Outlook. For example, my document library where I store all my project documents, I can take all this and say, you know what? Make it show up in Outlook as well. Now, I talked to some of you earlier. You guys are just about to go to 2010. You could do this right now with 2007. Right now. So what I just did is I connected my document library of my projects to Outlook, and what does that mean? Anytime a new document gets added or updated on my PMIS, boom, I could see it in Outlook without going to that PMIS. Very, very compelling. And these are the things that we already have today. You don't have to even worry about buying it, etc. So number one, you create your PMIS upon project definition. Number two, working with these tools, obviously as a project manager, as we get into project planning, we start developing or building our schedule. And certainly we can use Microsoft Project for that. The good thing in my environment, since we've done this 10,000 times, part of what comes to the PMIS template is a Microsoft Project schedule that I can start off with and customize based on my project needs. So what I'm doing here is I'm opening a Microsoft Project schedule that came to the PMIS. I'll edit it based on my project need, and I can start working. Again, none of the emailing back and forth. Where's that file again? It's all centralized in this one-stop shop. Now, who has to deal with compliance? Sarbanes-Oxley, you all familiar with that? HIPAA, right? ARRA, American Reinvestment Recovery Act, FDA Part 11, Run DMC. The beauty with this is things like change configuration management is built in with version history, check in, check out for audit trail. If you take it further, Microsoft SharePoint has this thing called Records Center, where if you want the cradle-to-grave records management type of capability, it's all built in. So I just opened the file, and friends, this is it, right? Since we've done this a lot, I already have a template. So a couple of things I could do. I can update my project information. I'm going to start the project 11, 11, 11. Now, also what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this schedule, and I'll go to my scheduling and make sure it auto schedules for me. What that means is, based on the date I put in, if you start on 11/11, what's going to happen is this project will last until August 21, which is fine. So that's the scheduling piece. So let's say I'm going to take that. Let's look at resourcing. So what I'm going to do with resourcing, I'm going to go to my resource sheet. And the resource sheet, I'm going to type in my resource, Raymond Tsai. And that's the only resource I get. What are you complaining about, right? That's life. Deal with it. So I assign Ducks as my resource, and then what else am I going to do here? I will highlight all these tasks, and I will assign my resource. Ducks will be doing all this stuff, right? Now, as project managers, being diligent, we have to check his allocation. The work we've assigned Ducks, is that realistic? So let's check it out. So let me go to the resource graph briefly. So first of all, you see Ducks' name is red. What that means is danger, Will Robinson. You've assigned more work than he's supposed to do. So on certain days, for example, sometime November 18, he's working 200% of what he's capable to do. That means 8 hours is 100%. He's working 16 hours. Big deal, Ducks. You're in DC. Right? Suck it up. Well, what about this? He's working 400%. That means 32-hour days. I know Ducks is Superman, but he's not this kind of Superman, right? So it gives you visibility for scheduling, for planning. Certainly you can tweak all this as well. Now, so after seeing all this, you know what? That doesn't work well. Let me pop in a built-in leveling tool. You see that? Level resources. Let's hit level all. The idea of resource leveling means that based on the limited resources we have, we'll reschedule everything so the resource is not over-allocated. And by doing such, what did we end up with? The project is now pushed to March 28. Obviously, management won't be happy, but then you tell them, hey, management, what's important? Is it cost? Is it time? Or is the scope? If time is of essence, give me more people. If you're limiting your budget and you're only going to give me Ducks, this is what you get. That's the kind of power this tool provides. Versus, boss, I can't do it. Okay, prove it to me. You don't have any way to prove it. So that's the beauty of this. So you can build your schedule in Microsoft Project. Next, you can maximize a lot of collaboration tools that's built in, especially with Office 365. So here's the deal, right? I need to update one of the documents here. I need to update this change impact analysis worksheet. In fact, when I clicked on it, notice it opened on the browser. This is a feature called Office Web Apps. The beauty of Office Web Apps is, imagine Microsoft Office on the browser. You don't need Microsoft Office on your desktop. So what I'm going to do is, I will edit this document. In fact, I will open it in Word, okay? All right? And I can start working on it, and the beauty of that, as I start working on it, it's opening up. It could track all the changes, it could track all the versions, especially if you have to deal with compliance, you can deal with that. So while that's opening, what else can we take advantage of, right? We can utilize mobile devices, and this is one of the greatest, I think, powerful feature that SharePoint provides for us. So, for example, one of the things I have here is a PMO notebook, and do you guys have like a PMO notebook they use, like informal lessons learned, that kind of thing? So one of the things I use is OneNote. Anybody using OneNote? Okay, very, very powerful, great note-taking tools. So the beauty of OneNote, once it's in Office 365 or SharePoint, I can literally connect to it using my phone. It doesn't have to be Windows. It could be iPhone, it could be Android. They have apps for that. And I can open up the file easily, okay? And let's say I'm on plan 7, so what I'm going to do is part of this meeting is I need to take a picture of it. So the idea is, I'm going to start working on this okay? And I need to take a picture. So the idea is in the spirit of these things, let's say I'm on site, which is key. Okay? So just by doing that, I get a session. I don't have to email anything, I have to deal with forwarding stuff. Automatically, in a few seconds, it will show up on the OneNote document in my PMIS, and at the same time as somebody has it open. Are you guys finding benefit from all this stuff? I don't feel the love. Just kidding. So, next, you can track efficiently with Project 2010. So as all this stuff is happening here, let me bring back this, this document. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this document, test, change impact. Let me hit save. So it got saved back to the PMIS. Let me close it. Now the beauty of this is, if I open my document, look at version history, it shows, look, there's 3 versions. Y'all see that? Very good for compliance. It's not only that. When I open it back up, it can clearly show me what changed, when changed, who changed it, at what time. Okay? So let's look at this piece about tracking. So it popped up. So let me go to review, compare, last version. So what it's going to do is you can actually take prior versions. This is all in Word. It's all built in. I don't have to deal with any other tools here. It could show me, look, this is the original document. This is what's changed. This is what it looked like. Isn't this so powerful versus emailing one file to 10 people, you get 10,000 things back trying to figure out what changed? It's all out of the box. I'm going to take my schedule now, and what I'm going to do is I will synchronize this with my PMIS, because the idea now is as I start running the project, I don't want my resource playing with this Microsoft project file. All I want to do is my resource updating what they've done, and it should show up in my Microsoft project file. I'm sure some of you are thinking about that scenario. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this Microsoft project schedule, push it out to my PMIS, and I want to show this to you real quick. Right now in my PMIS, nothing's on the project task list, right? So from Microsoft Project, it's looking at all these things. In a few seconds, we'll see, all right, in a few seconds, we'll see the task list appear here. And what's going to happen is my resource, all they have to do is come up here and update when they actually started, how many % they've done, without opening up Microsoft Project. And all of these things are out of the box. So it's doing it. Let me hit enter again to hit refresh. And voila, y'all see that? So now my resource, all he or she has to do is come up here. You know, you can capture baseline, or if you baseline it, that says, okay, I've done 100% of this, I've done 50% of that, and that same data will be pushed back to Microsoft Project. Last but not the least, just like what we've seen with connecting calendars and documents, I can connect this project task list to Outlook as well. So what that means is my resource, they don't even have to go PMIS. They just fire up Outlook, look at their task list, all their tasks would show up in Outlook, which they can update directly in Outlook. Does that work for you? And once that's done, let's say my resource updated it here, okay? All the updates would go back to the SharePoint site and the PMIS. So once that's done, let me just hit sync. And once I've synced all this stuff, you should see all the updates show back. Very powerful. Now, you can create visual reports or dashboards easily. This is one of those things that will get you promoted at work. When you see your boss, tell him dashboard. You get promoted. I'm going to send you a lot of demos, but quickly I want to show you an example. This right here is a public-facing site. Virginia Department of Transportation is using SharePoint, right? Another example. I've got the demo I did earlier. In my PMIS, I built a dashboard that tracks project expenses. And this data is actually coming from Excel, right? So you can do all these things all out of the box with Office 365. You can automate project processes with out-of-the-box workflow. Now, I know there's a lot more things that certainly you can cover. I've got my contact information there. I'll send you a lot of resources. But hopefully you found this session helpful and beneficial. Other than that, thank you for being here. If you have questions, I'll be here. And enjoy the rest of the conference.